What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we've got a lot of Age of Triumph info to talk about, and basically a massive amount of commonly asked questions that people have about the event that now we have a lot of answers to. And this, of course, is all courtesy of Josh Hamrick from Bungie, who you would have seen on the recent reveal streams, and he oversees basically all the buffs and nerfs and generally the details of the live events. So he's basically been crazily active on Twitter recently and answering so many questions the community have for him, and there's been a lot of interesting details that have come out from his tweets that I want to talk about with you guys. So I've gone through, I'd say, nearly 100 of his tweets, and I'll be summarizing all the new bits of info that came from them and things we didn't previously know before. So the first one is a very interesting topic that a lot of us and I myself have definitely wondered about, and this is to do with Pocket Infinity, the last remaining exotic, coming up to 400 light possibly. And someone asked, any word about Pocket Infinity to 400, and will the Adept raid versions drop different elements? So can you get a Solar Fate Bringer, or will the elements just be fixed to the weapon? And he said no and no, unfortunately. So apparently the Pocket Infinity is going to be the only exotic remaining in year one, which makes literally no sense to me. I can't really think of why it's just this one weapon being left in year one. I mean, maybe Bungie sees something that we don't, and there's like a problem with the weapon, but it seems just really, really strange to single out this one weapon, this fusion rifle, which, to be honest, in Crucible wouldn't be overpowered at all. I mean, they've got no special ammo these days anyway, so I am really not sure about why it's being left behind, but there you go. The Pocket Infinity will not be returning. Very strange. Let me know your thoughts down below, but apparently that's going to be the one exotic that's never going to be at the current light level, and it kind of messes with your OCD a bit, just having this one gun that's not going to be in the kiosk and having your exotic collection never being complete with this one exotic gun. But there you go. That is the answer with Pocket Infinity. So the next question was asking, are there any other buffs or nerfs happening that weren't discussed on the stream? And he responded saying the Astrocyte Verse is getting a buff. There's also a fix for the exploit, which allowed you to use Rescue Mag and basically damage yourself with a grenade to get ammo, so that's being fixed. And they also didn't properly nerf shotguns in the recent 2.5.02 patch. So the rangefinder perk, as you probably know, was supposed to increase your aim down sight speed, but actually decreased it, meaning it's faster. So it was actually a buff, and technically rangefinder buffed your aim down sight speed. That's being corrected, of course. And also the in-air accuracy was apparently not nerfed properly. It was basically hardly touched all, so they're going to be fixing that. But the Astrocyte Verse is an interesting one. He said from +3 recovery to +7, wanted to make sure it's going to be more potent as to what it does. So the Astrocyte Verse, which was technically one of the most broken and useless exotics in the game, is going to be getting a notable buff, which hopefully will make a difference and make it actually viable. I always thought the Astrocyte Verse was one of the best looking exotics in the game. It looks so cool, but in terms of its perks, it just does not cut it. And on top of that, the perk that it did have didn't even work properly. So even if it did work, it wouldn't be very good. So hopefully this buff does actually make it usable and viable. And it'll be interesting to see if it's actually a decent exotic now. So the next question was a very interesting one. And someone asked, how will the perks be handled for the King's Fall Adept weapons? Can we pick from the 4 nodes, or has one perk been chosen? And he said, good question. The answer is they have been chosen. So if you don't know what they're talking about, essentially the King's Fall raid weapons, those are the only guns in the game in terms of raid rewards that actually have alternating perks, and you can get different rolls on them, the final node. So the primaries, of course, they're going to be coming back as exotics with elements, but they're wondering what kind of perk rolls are they going to get, because of course they're random. So apparently what Bungie is going to be doing, they're going to be picking one perk from the 4 possibilities and actually just fixing it to that gun, because obviously you can't get 4 different rolls on it. So if you look at the Smiter Moraine, for example, the Pulse Rifle, the final node, that can get 4 different perks to roll for it. So Glass Half Full, or Life Support, Firefly, or Danger Close. So what Josh is saying is that one of those 4 perks is going to be fixed to the exotic version of the Adept Smiter Moraine. That's how it's going to work. Now, in terms of the actual perks, they all seem to be pretty garbage. I mean, all of them here, Life Support, Glass Half Full, Danger Close, they're pretty bad. Firefly, I guess, is okay, but still, if you compare to the Wrath of Machine weapons or Fatebringer, the King's Fall weapons are, I think, a little bit lacking. So it's going to be interesting to see what perks they actually choose for them. They hopefully are going to pick the best ones, but that is how they're going to handle it. So the next question was something that I definitely wanted to know, and that is the Touch of Malice and Outbreak Prime going to gain elements or stay kinetic? And the answer is they are staying kinetic. They're not getting burns, which personally I do feel a little bit disappointed. I do think the Outbreak Prime does deserve solar burn. I mean, it just makes so much sense. And especially seeing as the Vex Mythoclast and Nechrochasm, those have arc and solar burns, it just makes perfect sense. And I feel like all these other new exotics now are just going to trample all over Outbreak Prime with their elemental burns, considering it's one of the hardest and most rare exotics in the game. Of course, Touch of Malice, there's really much to do there because no one really uses it normally outside King's Fall in that one situation. It doesn't really need a burn, but for now they're going to be staying as kinetic. So the next question was also a very good one that asked something that I wanted to know, and this was asking, does the Vault of Glass armor pieces look like year one without the ornaments on? And he said, yes sir. And also, does the Nechrochasm do the same too? And he said yes, he believes it does as well. So that is how it's going to work, which is very good news to hear. So you can get the original and classic bronze theme of the Vault of Glass armor with the orange lights and everything, but there's 2 ornaments applied, one to make it look blue tinted and one to make it look crazy with the Vex robotic leg and everything else. So 3 sets in total, which is also very, very good. Someone also asked about the Thorn, if there's any possibility of a buff for the handling speeds or range or bloom, and he said not in the immediate future, so something you're apparently not looking towards. And the next one was about the Nechrochasm and its exotic quest, and someone asked, are you still going to need the Husk of the Pit, or the Eidolon Ally, or the Crux of Crotar? And he said something like that, although a new quest will do a better job at rolling it out. And now someone else asked again, how do you acquire the new Vex and Nechrochasm? Is it RNG from Atheon and Crotar? And he said the Vex is standard, I believe, so just an RNG drop from hard mode. The Nechrochasm has a new quest, and then someone was saying how much of a pain it was to get the original Husk of the Pit and the Crux of Crotar, and he suggested maybe the new quest structure will be smoother, so probably going to be easier than it was before. So the next question was asking if the Xbox One users are going to get the Jade Rabbit, and he said no clue on that stuff, so it doesn't appear to be likely it's going to be happening in this update. He would probably know about it if it was, so it does seem like it's probably going to launch with Destiny 2. So the contract was probably extended by an entire year, it looks like, so I wouldn't expect the Jade Rabbit or Zen Meteor, unfortunately, until September on the Xbox platform. And the final question was asking, again, something a lot of people did wonder about, and that's if any Year 1 vendor weapons are going to be making a return, like the rank up reward packages similar to the longbow and the LDR we got last year with the April update, and he says no sir. So unfortunately no Year 1 weapons returning, but of course we do know all the vendor roles on the weapons are going to be resetting every single week, so it should be some variety and hopefully some good weapons popping up every now and then. So that has been a roundup of all the info we can pull from Josh Hamrick himself on Twitter. Done a really awesome job kind of answering the community and giving a lot of commonly asked questions some light and definitely some really cool info for sure. Let me know your thoughts and everything I've discussed in the comment section. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one.